Hello, Flosstube. More experiments with lighting. I think this is a little bit better setup than I had last time. Um, uh, it is Saturday, May 19th, and for me, I want to say, first of all, before I go on, I want to say hello to uh, any new subscribers, returning subscribers. Thanks to Leslie Hurley. Uh, I got some new subscribers. She did a shout out for me for last week as a flubie, a newbie to Flosstube. Um, uh, she first came across my last update, number 10, um, just recently, and so she mentioned me in her flubie announcement. Not I'm sorry, not Leslie Hurley. Oh gosh, I said the wrong name. Oh, I can't think of her name now. Anyway, you know who you are. Thank you so much for mentioning my YouTube channel. And anyway, so welcome to new subscribers, and hello again to returning subscribers. And today, like I said, to start it off, today is May 19th, Saturday, and for me, since I was doing WIP-MAYNIA through the 18th, 18 days for 2018, WIP-MAYNIA is over for me. So I thought I would post an update to let you know how things went and sort of what I learned from WIP-MAYNIA and what I did for WIP-MAYNIA. I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking into outer space. Hold on one second. Okay. So I thought I would just get, I'm sorry, I gotta put a shadow across my face. Hold on one more second. Okay. So first of all, I will just go over my projects and talk a little bit about the progress that I made on them. Excuse me. So my first, well, I kind of goofed myself up a little bit because I did Friday After Good High Tea start on the 30th, and I sort of counted that as my first Mania project. But I think when I started, I hadn't done any stitches on it, so it was technically a new start. It was a high tea start because I started on April 30th, so it wasn't really part of Floss Mania, etc. Excuse me, Mania. It wasn't part of. It was anyway. So in counting, what I did was I did 9 projects and I did them on 2 days, so that made 18. So the Mary Englebright that I started on April 30th is sort of an outlier. It doesn't really count. So, but on May 1st, I started with this project, this little holiday wreath project. You get a little closer, you can see the details. So it was partway done, and so I stitched on it. I did the light green was just started, I think, and I finished that, and I did started on the dark green. The red was already done, and the candles, the flames and the candles. So I just did the dark green, and there's a lot of backstitching, a lot of complicated backstitching that you can kind of see here that I'm not looking forward to. Backstitching is not my favorite thing, and there's a lot of it on that project. But anyway, I made significant progress on it, I think. So then I did the second day of Mania, and so I did the little wreath on the first day of Mania and on the 18th day, yesterday. So on the book ending, coming back, I did Eeyore. This, and somebody had an Eeyore similar to this, not quite the same, because it said it has the word Eeyore, and the little bee was down here, or one of these bees was down here. I don't know if both of them were in there or not, but it was. But he was sitting like this, so it was similar but different. So when I started this project, it had just this nose section done and the beginnings of this purple color, gray or whatever it is. But anyway, and here comes the sun, so I'm getting some shadows. But anyway, so I did the rest of this color, and then I started on I did up to here, and because this was kind of out by itself, and there's a lot of little half stitches and stuff, so I started on the green so I could get the placement of this correct. And the other foot, gray, this color is going to go on this side. So I continued the green over here so I could place that one properly. So in my stitching, the 2 days that I worked on this, the second day and the 17th day, I worked on this. This is the progress that I made there. On the 17th day is when I started this green, when I returned to the project. So there's that. And then there's this little wreath guy. And this one I probably made the most progress on. When I started it, it was just this little bit of, of the wreath. Just one little line of green. So I did the 2 shades of green of his sweater. Let me get this a little bit closer to the camera. And I did the 2 shades of yellow, and you can barely see it, but I did some white, just white, right on where the corner of this card is. You should do better. There's white where the cuff of his little boots are supposed to be red, and the middle where his muzzle goes, and white for the little Santa hat this way. Pardon my cat. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. So I worked on his stripes, and this is 18 count Aida, and has a lot of like half stitches and stuff. And I decided not to do them on some of the white because after a while it was not only making me crazy, but I figured with all the back stitching that goes, on the details, sorry about my cat, you're not going to be able to tell if there's a half stitch there or not. So I just decided to just stop making myself crazy, and stop doing them. One thing that I'm very proud of is this. The next day, that was the 3rd and 16th day. So I did the 4th day and the 15th day on this Midnight Meow. Sorry about my cat. He's making more noise, but, he won't listen to reason. Anyway, speaking of cats, I did this Midnight Meow thing. It's a little Jiffy kit. And this is the one that I famously lost the floss to. So I spent a great deal of time finding floss that was sort of, more or less the colors that I used. The problem was I had done most of this cat and this dark orange stitching here at the bottom. And I had done some white here, but I had to frog it because I had miscounted and put it in the wrong place. And when I was taking it out, I realized this is 4 strands of floss on this black Aida. 4 strands of floss. And I looked at the instructions. The instructions actually called for 3 strands for each stitch, each cross stitch. And I think I probably did 4 so I could use the loop method, which is how I usually stitch. Anyway, so I had to redo this white. And I put in, and I don't know if you can tell, some little peachy color on the inside of his ears, and blue for his eyes. And then I redid this white, and I did this section of white over the 2 days that I worked on it. Hold on one second. Anyway, so then the next day, what is this? I've lost track of how many days. But I worked some on the baby sampler that I started for my nephew, who is now going to be 21. Anyway, I'm trying to get it out of the glare of the sun. Now the sun is coming up. There we go. That's better. So I have on the sampler, I had done all of the letters and had done some of the border. So when I stitched on it recently, I did the rest of the inside of the border, inside border, and I started on, on the outside border just because it's the same color as the inside border, and then a design goes on the inside. There's I think 2 or 3 colors that go inside this border, and then there's still back stitching to do in the letters. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it now, because I don't think my nephew would necessarily want it anymore. And I don't know if anybody who's pregnant right now who would want it or whatever, but I'll have it handy to do something with if I ever know anybody who has a baby. Anyway, so for the next day of Mania, and like I said, I've kind of lost track of how many. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This was the 5th day, and the 12th day. This was the 6th day. Is this wolf? Let me see. Let me get it here. And you can't really tell because it's a lot of confetti and a lot of gray, but I did this section over here under his ear. Right around in here. With this color of gray. I forget what it is. 645 DMC. And it's this picture right here is Timberwolf. And if you can tell from the pattern. Let me see if I get it in the right place. If I can get a good picture of it. Sorry. There it is. It's just, there's a lot of confetti and a lot of, and it's a very tiny pattern. And if I had time and, if I was working on this by itself, I would have taken it and blown it up and make a working copy. I don't know how I managed to do it before, but because I did a lot of stitching. I did, and because I'm a one color at a time kind of person, so that's why it's scattered kind of the way it is. And this one I had to sort of take some time to figure out what color and where on the pattern and everything, so that made that kind of difficult. But once I got started on it, it was fine. So the next day, what is this? The 5th day and the 11th day of Mania, I think, was this little hanger. If you see there's a little hardware at the top and this hanger ingredients for a happy home. And it, it's pointed and it has binding on the edges. Well, it comes with the binding and the kit comes with the hanger and all that. And you just make the arrow after you stitch it, and make the pocket for. I think this is upside down. Okay. But anyway, so I had just started some of the light blue. So when I worked on it, oh goodness, okay. I finished all the light blue and started on the dark blue here. And there's a bad crease right here, and I'm hoping that I can iron that out. So the sun's coming up and messing up my lighting. But so this is the bell pull, and this was harder for me to get motivated on, just because finding the finding the colors wasn't hard, but just finding, places to stitch, it was hard. And I think that doing the individual areas is going to be harder too. This is like part of a saucer that goes here, and these down here are the little eggs in a nest, and down here, down here are is a basket of flowers, and it's it's very complicated. But anyway, so this one I had probably the least motivation, but I worked on it. And then for that was the 7th day, I think. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, the next day, I had this one. Wait a second. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, that was the 7th day. And the 8th day was this one, the piano cat. And again, this is very, very gray. And so this one, I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the heap real quick so you can see better. This one it's coming along. So, I have this wrong. Who could tell? But this line, excuse me, it's upside down. This line here is the edge of the pattern. And so I worked downward, and I worked on this middle bottom section right here. So you can kind of see the cat's leg right here on the piano. One of his legs, and this is part of his chest here, and part of his rump over here, and part of his neck goes up here. And there's still a lot of stitching in this area, and in this area, a lot of this gray color mostly going up, because I've done most of what goes down here. And this elephant minder in the middle. Elephant needle minder my sister made for me. Anyway, I worked on that. Even it was very hard to get motivated on that as well. And then this, my 9th day and turnaround day, 10th day, was this daily walk in the woods, which is still a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it. And what I had done before Mania was part of this, I think I did the trunk of this tree here. So for the 9th day of Mania, I worked on the outline of these leaves, and for the 10th day, I finished the outline of the leaf. I think about halfway. And so for the 10th day, I did the other half of the leaves, and I started on the inside of this leaf here. And I had done all of this stuff previously. And this is my other elephant needle minder. So this was the project that I decided was, when I decided to turn her on around and fold WIP-MAYNIA in on itself and do the other 9 days on the 2nd day on each project. So, what I learned from WIP-MAYNIA, the first thing was something I already knew about myself, and that is that I am most comfortable I'm trying to get in the best light here. I'm just going to have to accept shadows on my face, sorry. Hold on. That's a little better. What I learned about myself is that, yes, I am most comfortably a monogamous stitcher. I like one project and like to finish that project, and before I move on to another one, I'm more likely to finish it and more likely to kind of get more enthusiastic about it. And the other is that there are certain kind of projects that are more fulfilling than others. I like my piano cat pattern. I like it a lot, but it's hard because right now, especially because it is just a lot of gray and a lot of keeping track of where I am, and that's really makes it difficult. The daily walk in the woods is easier because they're smaller. Uh, I'm basically doing, even though the colors kind of repeat themselves in many areas, it's a matter of, one tree at a time, doing this color for this part of the leaf and this color for that part of the leaf and this color for the trunk, and so it's a little easier to stay motivated, to stay enthusiastic about it, whatever, because uh, each tree, you know, uh, comes to life more quickly because you know, you do it and it's done, and you go on to the next one and it's done, and you go on to the next one and it's done. So it's it's uh, a lot of fun to work on. You you do one color for the trunk, and it shapes up particularly. Even these little backstitch ones, um, you know, what's not as fun is like doing the little birds, even though they're kind of fun to stitch. They're very small. It's just kind of like it's a lot of backstitching, and they're kind of hard to see for me anyway. Um, on the pattern, I downloaded the pattern on my computer, and printed it off, and it's fine. But it's kind of hard to see, and the fact that I like patterns also that are on one page. Um, like with the piano cat, I blew it up a little bit so I could, because it was also very tiny. It was too tiny to really see, and so that's another thing that's helpful, is having a larger pattern to look at. A lot of the kits I had were very small, and so the patterns are very small, and some of them were very complicated. Like the little cat that I was doing. There's the little cat holding a wreath. It's on 18 count, 8 on this big, and the pattern is this big and very tiny, and has a lot of backstitching in some places. I'm like, what is that symbol? What is that? And I figured, well, if I can't tell what it is, nobody's going to be able to tell very much by the time I finish it. So, but and also some of these kits, because they're so old, they're all from most of them are from the 80s at some point, or excuse me, the 90s, because that was around the time that I first started buying things, and for cross stitching things, is the early 90s, mid 90s, whatever. And even though I bought a few things over the years, I stitched them and put them aside, stitched them and put them aside. Hold on 1 second. I wanted to let my cat scratch because he was scratching the little cardboard scratcher that I got him, and not the chair, which is good for him. Anyway, so I didn't want to scold him while he was scratching properly. Anyway, so I had a lot of fun. And whether I'll do it again or not remains to be seen. This is my first time for any kind of mania, anything. Excuse me, WIP-MAYNIA or Stitch Mania or anything. So so I kind of had fun doing it, and even though it went against my nature to put something up, to pick something for one day and then put it down, and pick something else for another day and put it down, and rather than finishing something, it did give me a chance to touch these old projects and work on them. When I did my last update, I talked about doing a combination of whips and new starts, and I decided against the new starts because I figured, I would end up starting in a project and then probably not getting back to it for who knows how long, or would have sort of an undetermined fate, because I wouldn't know when I would want to get back to it, when I would be able to get back to it. And so then it would become another WIP in my pile, and I already had a lot of WIPs in my pile. So I didn't. I had, some kits that I would love to start, but I just don't want to have a pile of unfinished things, in my stash. Some people operate that way, and what I found was that I would have liked to have finished each of these projects at least to the FO stage, which is what I have right now. I have a lot of supplies to FFO things, and I haven't done that yet. I don't really have space. I feel like I don't have, like, room. I don't really have a craft room, and I don't know. I feel like I'll get around to FFOing everything, excuse me, eventually, but not right now. Anyway, so I would have liked to have finished any of these projects, any one of these projects. So I would, could get to at least the FO stage, and I thought I might on some of the smaller ones, like that little holiday wreath that I was doing, with the cat holding the wreath, or the other one too, the with the candles, because I was really pretty close to finishing, but the little holiday wreath of the candles still, like I said, needs a lot of back stitching, which is it was very complicated. It's like around almost, each cluster of leaves and stuff, and so it's it's a lot harder than it looks. And then with the cat holding the wreath, there's a lot of back stitching, because it has like drumsticks and a drum and all that, and there's a cat under the bed. So there's still a lot of stitching on that one, a lot more than I thought. Is in that, goes into that one. So each of these. Sorry, one of my cats is going a little crazy. Playing by himself. That's my cat. Snug. Okay. So anyway, that's one thing that I learned, and I had fun doing it, just challenging myself and finding all my projects and do my own take on WIP-MAYNIA, and so anyway, that's my progress so far. What I did for Mania 2018. And what I plan on doing is probably working on Walk in the Woods, but I feel like I want to finish some of these projects, so I might do, I don't know, some kind of rotation, not a strict rotation, that okay, today's Monday, I have to work on this, and today's Tuesday, I have to work on that. But now that I've gotten these projects out in the daylight and I've worked on them, I want to finish some of them. Like Eeyore, I want to do a little more stitching on him. I don't have it handy because I moved a little bit, but I want to finish that green section. The Midnight Meow, the Cats on the Fence, I want to finish that cat that I started. So I'm feeling the itch a little bit to finish stitching those projects now that I've started on them again. And so yeah, I might keep stitching the rest of the month. I might pick a couple of projects and work on them for the rest of the month. One thing that I wanted to do that, let's see if I can find it here real quick, real handy. I don't know how handy it is. Excuse the top of my head. Excuse my face. Oh my goodness. so close to the camera. Yeah. I have this little piece of black Ada cloth. It's full of hair. Sorry about that. But some of you know that most of you, I think I mentioned this on more than one occasion, but I had brain surgery the end of May, beginning of June in 2016. So it'll be 2 years ago, June, I don't know, like 7th or something like that, I think is when I had the surgery. But May is Brain Tumor Awareness Month, and many people who have gone through an acoustic aroma have like a, wear gray in May t-shirt or symbol or whatever. So what I was thinking of with that black Ada cloth is doing like a gray ribbon design. Many people wear a gray ribbon for Brain Tumor Awareness Month. Go gray in May, something like that. Some people have t-shirts that say, I survived brain tumor, what's your superpower? Somebody else, I just recently saw a t-shirt that said, it came, we fought, I won, something like that. So I'm kind of wanting to do, I've been fiddling around with the design for a gray ribbon, and I might do something along those lines during the month of May, before the month is over. I haven't decided yet what exactly I'm going to do, but that's the plan, part of the plan. So that may become something that I do before the month is over. I don't have very many days left, so I'm going to get on that soon. But anyway, so my WIP-MAYNIA is over, and it's probably going to have, like I said, repercussions in terms of what I'm thinking about, what I get back to before the month is over. And it'll probably be, I probably will do some more work on some of these projects. But I'm not doing 31 days of, new starts or new stitching or whatever. I'm not doing that strictly for this month. But it's been a lot of fun. And now I'm going to sort of sit back and watch the rest of you crazy people who are doing 31 days or whatever. 31 new stars, 31 days of stitching or whatever your flavor of mania might be. Anyway, so yeah, so I will see you all next time, and thank you again to my subscribers, and for anybody who's new, welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth Martinez. I don't think I said that at the beginning. phantastitches. And I will see you all next time. Thank you very much. One more thing, sorry. Last Saturday, a week ago, I spent most of the day, I went up to Scottsdale. I live in Chandler. I live in Ahwatukee now. But my family members and I went up to Scottsdale, which is a good drive from here. But we went to go hear my niece play at the MIM, the Musical Instrument Museum up there, and she did a wonderful job on the Ravel Tzigane piece. I don't know how you say it exactly, but it's a wonderful piece, and I will try to put a link to her performance in the notes of this video if I'm able to. But anyway, I'm very proud of her, and she's going to be a freshman at New England Conservatory this fall, and she really is a very promising violinist, and I'm very proud of her. And like I said, if I can link her performance in this video, I will. Um, but it was just remarkable, and it holds a lot of promise. And I'm looking forward to hearing her in the future and seeing what she's capable of doing as it goes on. You know, I spent 25 years as a musician with the Arkansas Symphony, and but I don't think I was, I was never on the level that she's at, even when I was, starting off and um, studying. I think she's, uh, on a different level, just better player than I ever was. And, you know, it musicianship runs in our family, I think, and little by little, I think with each generation, it gets a little better. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what she does with it in the future. Anyway, so okay, so now I'm done. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Bye.